Good morning, we hope you are well. It is a positive Tuesday, a terrific Tuesday after a happy Monday. A lot of positivity in the papers today, in the News and Star and the Munster Express. Again, go out please, support local journalism. Very, very important that you buy a newspaper or subscribe online to keep papers going. The Irish Times is an excellent report on page 2 from Dunmore East. Jennifer O'Connell went out to Dunmore and I went out to Tramore yesterday afternoon. Not obviously to get a bit of sunshine, God forbid, no, but just to see how the shops were getting on and the cafes, and there was a lovely buzz around. We'll hear a little bit about that in a minute. We're also going to hear about this economic recovery plan, how it's going to actually affect you, the punter. How it is going to mean shopping will change for you, and also business, what grants might be out there. I was talking to a self-employed person this morning, quite despondent, basically saying that there aren't enough grants out there for self-employed. In particular, he was saying that 20% of the workforce in Ireland are self-employed, and because they're not part of a big lobby group, they feel a bit let down. Let us know what you think, please. 083 3333 975. Or you can call Laura on 051 846 123. You can follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. And Claire is updating our social media commentary every few minutes. Declan Moriarty is going to talk to us in the Park Hotel. They're talking about the new reopening plans for hotels and a new programme called Because We Care. We want to hear about hair. Hair today, gone tomorrow. Danielle Kennedy is incoming president of the Irish Hairdressers Federation, and we're going to be talking to Phil Fanning about the great John Keane. Grania and Darren Collins from Baha Break will be in. We'll be continuing our excellent series that Mary O'Neill is doing with the SOS cycle, and we are also going to hear some lovely music. Firstly, just if you didn't hear it on the news this morning, it's an interesting one. I want to know what you think you'll do. Gardaí have lost the power to curtail movement. Conor Gallagher has it on the front page of the Irish Times. And this happened with the easing of the restrictions. And it wasn't really announced. The Garda spokesperson said the force will continue to encourage and educate people found travelling outside of the radius, but confirmed it no longer has powers of arrest. So basically, if you're travelling beyond your 20k limit, or if you go from Waterford into Wexford or over to Kilkenny or possibly up to Dublin, to Wicklow, to Galway, it does just mean that you can go anywhere in the country. Well, obviously, the advice is no, don't do that. But the new situation is that Gardaí can no longer arrest or prosecute anyone found outside of the radius. What's this going to mean for people? What is it going to mean for you? Let us know, please. Now, for people in Tramore, Tramore has been and will be very busy over the summer, hopefully. Tramore is open for business, just like Dungarvan, just like Quinn, just like Lismore, just like Ardmore, and obviously Waterford City and County. So I went out there yesterday afternoon. You might have heard yesterday we spoke with a number of people from Red Lane, the boutique, and Catherine Keary and her staff and customers. And when I went up there first, I also then went down to the Strand afterwards and spoke to some people. So up in Red Lane, firstly I spoke with some customers, and it was Anya McCarthy, Kent. Anya, you've just come into the shop here. How are you?
Delighted. Yes, good.
How does it feel?
It feels very exciting just to get the buzz of this particular shop, because I love this shop.
So we had Catherine on the radio yesterday, and we're going to talk to her now in a minute and some of the staff. The last 2-3 months, have they seemed really long, or how have you, like in terms of that retail experience and going out and just looking at garments? And
I'm a total shopaholic, so for someone like me now, this was total depression set in, not to be able to go into a shop, feel it, touch it, try it on and walk out with it. I was desperate. I'm not an online shopper, I like to touch. So I really missed it.
Because there is that tactile thing, that little thing of feeling it.
And colour.
Colour, yes.
You can't really see colour properly unless you're beside it, and I love vibrant colours. So this shop always has interesting clothes, slightly off-centre, which suits me.
A bit like Catherine.
A little.
Well, Catherine, there's a nice endorsement, isn't it?
Oh, that's lovely. It's great to have you back.
Thank you.
It's great to see. We've had a few customers in this morning now. It's been manageable, and just delighted to see everybody. Everybody's so happy coming in the door, and it's just brilliant. Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
People couldn't really spend unless you did online shopping. So you've saved somehow without meaning to. And so the people will have their few bob now and they'll be ready for the get-go.
Yeah, there may not be a splurge and that'll take time, but there will be this feeling for certain people as well that you want to treat yourself.
Yes, and also I suppose there hasn't been any events, but now there might be. So you're going to have that aspect of people again saying, oh, maybe this will be on, maybe that'll be on, I need to. Yeah. And you want to look some way decent going back out into the world. Waiting for those hairdressers.
Hello, Fiona, how are you? Tell me, you're back at work here. How much did you miss it in the last few months?
I've missed it, like just the normality of going to work on your weekly basis, having your routine sort of thing. I think once it all came to an end, you kind of didn't know what day of the week you had, and actually had to find yourself checking, is it Wednesday or is it Thursday? So it's nice to get back into routine. Yeah, definitely.
Did you sleep much last night? You're really excited.
No, I couldn't sleep a wink. I actually couldn't, and I kept checking my phone thinking I haven't set an alarm in ages. So all of a sudden I was checking the phone, making sure I don't sleep without whatever you do. So no, it was fine. But just it feels like your first day kind of all over again, and because obviously we had to reintroduce a whole new sort of way of working almost, and like even that with the masks and kind of, even everyday sort of cleaning and, that sort of thing, keeping on top of it.
And so far the customers, again, just dealing with them a little bit slower, and things will be a little bit slower, but very good personal service.
Yes, it is a different sort of way. We do have to, we've always been kind of very close with our customers, and we'd be down in the fitting rooms, we'd be helping them out. Whereas now I suppose we do have to take a little bit of a step back in that sense, but we're still very much there. It's just kind of trying to figure out a new way of being as helpful as you can without getting too close in certain ways,
That's a very good way of putting it. Who's your COVID officer here today?
Oh, Jane.
Hello, Jane. How are you?
Good to see you, Damien.
And yourself. Tell us about this steam cleaner here.
Yes, this is our steamer, Damien. So basically anything that's tried on by a customer is steamed and it is put away for 24 hours. So basically that's all. The most important thing for us is to steam down the clothes for the safety for our customers.
Will that cause problems in sense of somebody wants to buy the same dress? If you get the same dress in or you get a new item in, people will have to wait.
They just have to be patient, and I think this is the new normal for shopping. I think people just have to be a little bit more patient and sort of work with us so we can work with them. Mm-hmm.
Are you excited to be back?
Delighted to be back. It's good to be back. Missed everything. As Fiona said, the normality. It's just nice to have a bit of normality, but we are delighted to be back. It's great to be opened again.
After Red Lane, I went down to the prom in Tramore and firstly popped into Moes to see who was serving and how they were getting on. Who have we got here?
Leanne Brackenbury.
How are you, Leanne?
I'm good, thank you.
It's a lovely sunny day here in Tramore.
It is.
Nice crowd around. There's a few people coming in.
Yeah, it's definitely been busy. The morning started off a bit slower, but now that it's lunchtime, it's busy.
Obviously, there's no seating inside, and we're doing this from social distancing. How are you adapting? What have you had to do? The menu is a bit limited, more limited.
Yes, definitely. It's a smaller menu, and we've had to do the tables, so it's only 3 people allowed in the cafe at one time, 3 customers ordering, so they all have to be social distance. There's the signs on the floor, there's the signs on the windows outside, so it's just one at a time comes up and orders, and then you wait outside for your food, and obviously it's all takeaway.
What happens then in a few weeks' time? Are you planning for a bigger reopening?
Hopefully in a few weeks' time when everything's okay, that we're hoping to have, the tables back in. Hopefully people can come back in and eat inside, but it'll obviously be still, the tables will be separated from each other, but yeah, that's the goal.
And then obviously staff is another issue. There's a lot of staff working here. I'd say you're only back taking it easy one step at a time.
Exactly. There's only 6 of us back right now, so it'll be another few weeks so we hopefully can get all the staff back. But yeah, so for the time being, it's just 6 of us.
How many staff are here full-time or part-time altogether? Just over
20, yeah.
That's very good. And what's the reaction been so far? People in good mood?
People are in great form. I think everyone's delighted to be back out of the house again, to be honest. But people have been so nice. They're very understanding. Everyone's doing what they're supposed to be doing, so I can't complain.
Afterwards, I spoke with different customers in front of Moes and Molly's, enjoying their coffees. How's the summer been so far, Timmy?
Been okay. I'm grateful to be living out here in Tramore anyways, for the beach and everything, to get my daily walks in, but I do miss going around town at the same time. But no, it's great to see things starting to open up back again. out here, like Moes and Molly's here. So it's great to see people out and about again, bring everything back.
There's a nice crowd. I thought it was going to be busier. I know it's not too sunny yet, but it's a nice enough crowd.
No, it's great. And you can see everyone's being respectful of each other, and it's great to see.
And who's this here beside you?
This is Hayley.
Hello, Hayley. How are you?
Hello, I'm good, thanks.
Are you enjoying your coffee?
Oh, I am, yeah. I'm delighted Moes is back. We're straight out. First place on the list today now to get out.
What did you miss most in lockdown?
Just meeting up with family and friends.
Yeah.
So it's nice now to be able to even pop into someone's house now and social distance and have our movie nights, have our takeaways, meet up and have our teas, go for a stroll. It's nice now, yeah.
And before this man goes, because I know he's dying to get on the radio, what's his name?
Darryl.
Hello, Darryl. How are you?
Hi, David. How are you?
Again, what did you miss most?
Just getting out and about. Really, stuck at home. It's not really something that is kind of great for anyone's mental health really in the long term. So it's kind of getting out and about, getting walks in, not being paranoid about being too close to people. It's kind of the little things that you'd miss. I don't really miss shops. I don't miss anything like that. It's just getting out.
It means so much, and maybe people didn't appreciate it as much in the past.
That's it. I think because of this, I think a lot of people are kind of realising what's important now as well, and they're kind of going, well, I don't need to go shopping every day, and I don't need my trips to Pennies. I kind of want to see my family and friends a bit more. I do miss Pennies though. I still miss Pennies.
Here's the pennies. What's the dogs' names?
This is Arden and Moxie.
Ah, they're lovely. Well, what's your own name?
Shay Doheny.
Shay, where are you from, Shay?
Mount Pleasant.
Very good. And tell me, you're out here in Tramore. Is this the first day out, or are you excited, or tell us about it?
Been out since yesterday, so
yeah.
Just
came out to get a coffee.
Yeah. And what's it like coming out to Tramore now? It's lovely.
Yeah, it's lovely just to get a break away, and even the weather's not too bad today. So yeah, it's just nice to get out of the house for a while.
Did you miss Tramore?
Yeah, we did. Definitely. Yeah, we missed our Molly's coffee.
And what else did you miss? What was the simplest things that you missed?
getting out of the house.
Yeah.
And the spins out here,
Meeting up with friends, I suppose, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
What about shopping and clothes and all that sort of stuff?
Didn't miss it too much. Well, I suppose it'd be nice just to go in back, have a look around shops again, but that wasn't the main thing I missed anyway.
Who's there behind you?
That's my mum.
Hello, ma'am. What's ma'am's name?
Bridget.
Hello, Bridget. Bridget, what did you miss?
Oh yeah, just kind of been out and about, different places like that, just kind of going into town, shops not being open. It was sad to see it like that, but...
What about pennies?
Oh, definitely miss it, yeah, but I think I'll be waiting a while before I go back in. We'll see what the queues are like first when they open.
What's your own name?
Sarah.
Sarah.
Yeah.
Listen, thanks very much, folks.
No worries.
Thank you. See you later. What about yourselves? Enjoying the day out?
We are. Emer's just making the most out of the sun. All social distance, of course. That's all we can ask for.
How did you find the last few months? Difficult?
Yeah, hard. Hard was missing my friends and the company of my work.
And who's here beside you, Emer?
My sister.
And what's her name?
Momo.
Has it been difficult for Emer, for yourselves?
I think so, but I think we've kept ourselves busy. We changed Emer's room into an art studio, so she's painting every day, which is really nice.
That's a lovely idea.
Yeah. It's. I think we've realised we've realised really good ways of accommodating the situation, and we're still in Tramore, and we still even when it was 2k distance, we were still able to get out for our walks. So that's all you can ask for.
You're doing some great painting, you are? Yeah?
Yeah.
What's your favourite style of painting? Is it pen or with paints or?
Pen.
Pen.
She's going to have a quarantine collection by the time this is finished.
It's lovely today, isn't it? It's great.
Absolutely gorgeous.
There's a nice buzz.
Really nice. This is now the social aspect almost of Tramore is just coming, getting your coffee, and that's pretty good.
Thank you very much, Colin. Thank you very much. O'Sullivan, isn't it?
No, O'Sullivan, yeah.
Hello, ladies.
This is fantastic. It's just a new break for us. It's brilliant to be able to come out here and they're not stopping you on the road and sending you back. So it's lovely.
Did you miss Tramore?
I miss Tramore big time. Even walking on the beach and just getting out really and meeting people. The general kind of... You become antisocial at home. I miss Molly's coffee in there.
Did you miss it?
Oh, we did. We missed the coffee and the walks.
And the interaction. We missed the interaction. You kind of miss that.
Look where we are, sun over our head.
Really, we were lucky. I mean, when you think about it, the weather has been fantastic. You know, we haven't had bad weather, and you could even go out the back.
Yeah.
You know, but should we'd all end up winos if we stayed at home longer. The coffee is much better.
And just the simple things of coming out, as you say, sitting down, relaxing. You hear beside the flowers and there's a nice sea breeze.
We are keeping our distance.
Yes, it's lovely.
Yeah, lovely, yeah. And not being worried about driving out.
Did you find it difficult not coming out? You know what I mean? Tramore is only a few miles out, but whereabouts in the city are you?
We're out the Dunmore Road.
The Dunmore Road.
We just walk the river walk.
Ah, yeah.
You know, that type of thing.
Hello, ladies.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How much are you enjoying this?
It's absolutely brilliant. It's like getting out of prison. I haven't seen my friend since the end of February, so I'm absolutely delighted.
I'm Susan Hearn. I live here in Tramore, so we've been kind of lucky. We've had the takeaway coffee for the last few weeks with Molly's, but it's lovely to see everybody out now in the sun. And of course, my friend Helen, that I haven't seen since February, and I'm delighted to see her today. So
those simple things that people took for granted.
Yeah, I think we've all learned that lesson now in the last 12 weeks. You know, it's the simple things that matter, and the people that matter. You know, so yeah, great to see the sea. That's what I miss the most.
And the sun. The sun, of course.
It's the simple things that matter, the people that matter. That's from Helen, and all those wonderful positive thoughts from people in Tramore. The best of luck to everybody, as I said yesterday, that's opening their business this week, and that is welcoming guests back and customers. And to all the customers, again, be patient, maintain your social distance, wash your hands please. We do not want a second wave coming back, and make sure to keep the standards up that we have held so highly over the last 3 months. Next we're going to talk about and hear about the details of this integrated economic development and recovery plan for Waterford and how it's going to affect you. Now our text number 083 333 975. Good morning. Wondering if retail stores and libraries are open, why are the council civic offices in Dungarvan and Waterford not open? So people can finally pay rent, mortgage and other matters. That's from Maura in Dungarvan. Maura, they told us that they're going to be open on a phased basis over the next 2 weeks, so the council will keep in touch about that. Can you please wish Tommy Hart and the Holy Ghost a very happy birthday? Lots of love from Karen. Damien, if Gardaí have no powers of arrest regarding restrictions and travel at the minute, why are they taking registrations in Tramore yesterday? I asked them why. They said they were taking my reg, and they said it was to make sure the cars were from the area. I have a Waterford reg. Very good point, very good point. Good morning. Are shops that not accept cash and only card payment going to pay the card fees and administration fees for using it? You'll need a card to use the public toilet next, says this texter. That is a good one. Good morning. I heard on the news this morning that they're going to take people's temperatures before you go into a shop. I'm a woman of a certain age. If I'm having a hot flush, I may never get into a closed shop again. What do you think? You're going to hear some of the economic recovery plan and what it's going to mean for ordinary people out on the streets now. Owen Dalton has been talking to business owner Aoife Fitzgerald, Michael Garland from the Waterford Business Group, Councillor Damien Geoghegan, and firstly, Waterford Council's Economic Director, Michael Quinn.
Michael Quinn, Waterford City and County Council Director for Planning and Economic Development.
Okay, so Michael Quinn, can you just outline, I suppose, briefly just what this plan is about?
It sets out measures that the local businesses, the local stakeholders, the council, the local agencies can actually do to help reopen Waterford, and not just Waterford City, Dungarvan, Tramore and our towns and villages. And it sets out a range of measures to support local businesses, particularly in the SME sector. It sets out measures then to open up the city in terms of making it a safer place for shoppers to come. It sets out measures that will hopefully attract people back into our towns and cities, including events that maybe Spree might run, the Food Festival in Dungarvan might run. So there's a whole range of initiatives set out in it to help open up Waterford and get us back on our feet and get the people back shopping and get people back working.
I suppose we'll take the city in Tramore actually. What does it mean for particular streets and say the town centre of Tramore? What will this plan actually, how will it impact on them?
The most noticeable change will be there'll be obviously signage to help guide people around the city, encouraging them to social distance, where there are pinch points, narrow points in terms of streets. It'll basically, again, create a little bit of separation for people. The other thing which we're hoping is that more businesses will apply for a Section 254 licence and bring their furniture outside. And again, I think that will add to the atmosphere in Waterford. We also have a grant that will actually support them to do that, and to do that in a really quality way. And then we're actually going to have a thermal imaging camera as a pilot project in the city, where people can go up, check their temperature, and if it's within the recommended limits, they should go and shop, and if it's not, maybe they should go home and maybe consider whether they should get a test for COVID-19. So the idea is to try and create a safer place, a sense that Waterford is a safe place to come and shop. And we're very lucky that the infection rate in Waterford has been one of the lowest in the country. So I think people should have the confidence to come back out and enjoy our city, enjoy our towns, our town centres.
Are any new parts of Waterford being pedestrianised? Is the Apple Market being pedestrianised?
No, we're proposing to improve the pedestrianisation there, but you have local residents and you have local delivery, so we have to accommodate them. But the idea is that we will kind of improve what we've already done there. We'll enhance that a little bit further and create a greater level of pedestrianisation without discommoding either the immediate local businesses or the local residents. So there's a little bit of work to be done on exactly what that will be, but the idea is that it will improve that particular area for pedestrians and for the local businesses. Waterford City, in terms of the city centre, is actually very well laid out. So it's more a case of expanding out and using some of that public space rather than necessarily having to significantly increase the level of pedestrianisation. I think we're very lucky as a city centre. In Dungarvan, we're looking to make some changes there, but again, we'll obviously need to engage with the local businesses. And again, the whole idea is just to create a greater sense of a pedestrian space, a little bit more space for people to walk around so that they feel safe, and as far as possible to minimise the disruption to motorists and local businesses.
So we take Barron Strand Street, where the plan is being launched today. We take, say, the Apple Market up above and John Roberts Square. I mean, there's already seating out in some of these anyway, and there were pre-COVID. For something like the Apple Market, would we be looking to use maybe that central space, maybe more for seating that could be used by the traders there?
We've been working on an outline plan. Ultimately, it will be up to the local businesses to decide whether it's something that they want to do. And if they do want to expand out, we have an application process for them. And most importantly, we have a 75% grant up to €2,000 to actually enable them to do that in a very high quality manner.
Legally speaking, if particular maybe people or say shop owners maybe oppose maybe some of the pedestrianisation plans in Dungarvan, for example, can they challenge that? Well, they can challenge that, simply put. You really need buy-in here.
Oh, absolutely. We will be consulting with the local businesses. We're not proposing anything that's particularly radical. In Dungarvan, we're looking at just Main Street there as a pinch point where you've a lot of traffic, you have a lot of pedestrians on that street already. Try and create a little bit of distance between the pedestrians. It does make sense to consider pedestrianising it. Around the city centre here in Waterford, like I say, we're very lucky. We have a very good public realm. We have lots of public space that is substantially pedestrianised, and I think we're only looking at maybe one or two very small changes to try and enhance that a little bit more.
Councillor Damien Geoghegan, Chair of the Dungarvan and Lismore District Council. It's important that we put in place various different schemes and incentives to support business. That's important. I mean, these are the most challenging times we've ever witnessed for business, and it's important that we do everything that we can to support those businesses as they now attempt to get back up and running.
Let's look at the detail of it then. I mean, we'll take Dungarvan. There's talk of pedestrianising parts. You don't have the details just yet on what parts may be pedestrianised. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're looking at various different places like Grattan Square, Parnell Street in Dungarvan, David's Quay, O'Connell Street, parts of Mary Street. We're looking at where we can support business. We will do whatever we can in the sense that outdoor furniture, park pedestrianisation, that type of thing, putting in place grants and supports there for people who wish to avail of such a scheme. But I think it's important that, as I said, we need to do everything we can to support those businesses. Lots of businesses now that we have social distancing in place, and it's going to be in place for quite a while, it's important that we recognise that, and there's some businesses are going to be more challenged than others.
What do you think would be the response from, say, businesses within the city like Dungarvan to there are proposals at the moment? I suppose this has to maybe go to is this going to go through a similar planning process, public consultation, etc.?
No, it needs to happen quite quickly. So it's something that will occur. Like if we were to go through long consultation process, I mean, like the summer would be gone basically. So it's something that we've got to salvage as much as we can out of the summer of 2020. The feedback I'm getting from various businesses at the moment is positive. Towards any changes that may happen. I mean, as I speak to you now, council officials are talking and dealing with businesses and putting plans in place to have that sort of interaction that's required to bring people along.
I suppose for Dungarvan as well, I mean, this is geared towards food and beverage outlets. Dungarvan is probably quite well set up in that regard.
Yeah, Dungarvan over the past number of years has enjoyed a really good reputation, and it's. I think the layout of the streets there as well lends itself to placing outdoor furniture and park pedestrianisation and making it more pedestrian friendly. The reality is we've got to make our towns and our city centre of Waterford, we've got to make them attractive places for people to visit. People will spend money where they spend their time. That's the reality of it. I think we're lucky enough here in Waterford in the sense that we've seen really positive and good figures in relation to COVID-19. We can market Waterford on that basis in the sense that we can say Waterford is a really safe place to visit this year. Lots of people in Ireland, they will be looking now to holiday at home this year. That's a positive for us in the sense that we can tap into that market and we'll be able to say, look, Waterford is the place to come and visit. But we've got to be ready for that. We've got to have our streets set up for it. We've got to have our businesses supported so that they can hit the ground running. As I say, we've got to salvage as much as we can out of summer 2020 and beyond.
My name is Aoife Fitzgerald. I am the CEO of the Fitzgerald's Group, so Fitzgerald's Heroes Evolution FitzU.
Is it 8 stores in total?
9 stores in total. We have a dry cleaners and one that we haven't opened yet in Dungarvan just because it's in a shopping centre. But there's 8 opening today, so across the southeast, Waterford, Wexford, Clonmel.
If we look at the plan that's going ahead here today, the economic recovery plan for Waterford City and County, I mean, what's your main takeaway from it?
I think it's putting measures in place to safeguard the comfortable shopping of people around the city. It highlights very, very well a flow pattern for everyone to ensure that everybody is kept as safe as possible in the environment that we're living in.
One of the standout parts of it is the installation of the thermal monitoring terminals. How do you think that will work? Do you think people will take to it?
I would hope they would. I think it gives them a passport to shop in comfort and to shop freely and to shop in safety for both themselves, for staff within the stores, to feel comfortable serving people. I think it implements a measure that maybe hasn't been implemented anywhere, and it just gives that little extra safeguard to ensuring everybody's safety in the shopping environment.
Am I right? I mean, what happens if someone will get their temperature read, and if, say, their temperature is coming back with bad news, what happens then? I mean, are they advised against going into stores, but what's the next step?
The next step is probably their own discretion, and it would be discretionary of every store as to what they implement. But it just means that if they don't have their passport, how comfortable are they going shopping not having their passport? And to also for them to be responsible within it. I think there's a level of responsibility for people to take on themselves and maybe go and get, take a bit of time out, check your own temperature, see if you have any symptoms, and if it continues, obviously contact your doctor. But to be fair, I think to be respectful to everybody in the place, it might be an idea if you have a temperature not to be shopping in closer quarters or indoors.
You mentioned the passport. Is it a physical actual piece of paper that will be given to someone if they get the temperature read?
Yes, it's a piece of paper that it will print. A piece of paper once your temperature is normal, but it just won't print it if it's a little bit elevated.
I understand. And so essentially then stores can ask for the passport, I'm assuming then, if someone is entering their shop.
They can, of course.
Will Fitzgerald's, will your own group of stores be seeking the passport from customers coming in?
We would hope to. We would hope that people would endorse it and maybe go and get themselves their ticket as a passport to say, I'm healthy and well and can come into your store. And it would be nice for us to be able to, implement that within our safety measures within the stores.
If we take it, so we'll say, I'm thinking just a customer comes in and they don't have the passport for whatever reason, will they be served in that case?
We would ask them maybe to go and get their passport, and will they be served? We're never going to not serve anybody, so if they need something, we'll always look after somebody, but we just might bring them to a part of the store that's isolated and where there's 2 meters safe distancing and screen guards on. We'd also maybe provide them with a mask. So there are other measures that we can take. Of course, we'll always serve people.
Michael Gallen, work for business. I started off by telling the task group how difficult it was for business being self-employed in terms of losing income, and really firing home the difficult low point that Waterford started for us, to get everyone to come together and produce a COVID-19 economic recovery plan is really, really commendable to all the agencies that actually took for. And there's some wonderful ideas. Waterford and the people of Waterford have brilliant ideas. We just need mechanisms to develop and deliver those ideas. And I think part of this plan will allow people to contribute and get involved, as like the Waterford Online project that Glenn Sheridan put together. That'll probably come under the wing of Waterford Business Group. We've got We Love Waterford. We've got all the wonderful baskets that have gone out this year. There's 220 gone out today. That was a project between the Business Group, Tidy Towns and the Council. So everyone at one stage now seems to be working together, and what we need, and the people of Waterford, to be very, very parochial now, look after ourselves and spend their money in Waterford. Otherwise we'll be bottom of the pile once again.
You take, say, stuff like around the terminals to read temperatures of people, shoppers coming in. I mean, is that workable?
Well, if the technology is there, then yes, but there is a responsibility on individual shops as well to make sure that customers are coming in who are safe to do so for their staff. But there's a responsibility on us all as individuals to ensure that we are compliant with the COVID laws. So I think, again, I go back to what I say at the start. Collectively, we all have to work together to ensure we get buy-in. The council need to support the businesses with the rates. Car parking is a big issue, so there's all sorts of great suggestions around the cost and the price of car parking to get people in and so on and so forth.
Can you tell me a bit about that?
Yeah, well, what we're hopefully proposing is, and we had proposed things, but it's changed now because of the 8th of June changed since Friday. So what we've certainly proposed is, for instance, in the short term, there might be you get your first hour free and then reduced for the second, third hour. And then as we go on and more people come into Waterford, we turn it around the other way. So you pay for your first hour, but get your second and third hour free to encourage people to linger. So I think this initial stage is really to get people in to see the city, so there needs to be free car parking to start with, and as we go out of that, the offer becomes better to encourage you to linger in the city, and the council seem to be open to that.
Will that apply to council car parks only, or will that apply to...
The council will have to take the lead in this, and I believe the Port are very supportive of this as well, and they're the two main car parking suppliers in the city. It's then up to the other private individual car parkers to get involved. If they don't want to get involved, people will hear about that, but as I'm giving up my free time to help get the city back, everyone has to do their bit, and the private car parkers need to follow suit, and whatever the council and the Port come up with, everyone else needs to come up with exactly the same, and the onus is on them to do that, and if they don't, people need to find out about that.
People need to find out about that. Michael Garland ending that report by Owen Dalton. Let us know what you think about those different plans and those different issues that have been raised. 083 333 975. Next, we're going to be talking about hotel plans for reopening. Now I'm going to be talking to Declan Moriarty from the Park Hotel in a second. Firstly, a lovely text in from somebody, the Kinselas. I was in the People's Park yesterday in Waterford. My little girl, she fell off her bike. She cut her hands and her chin. A lovely lady helped her out. She was so kind. We don't know her name. We just wanted to say a big thank you to her. That's very, very nice. Declan, good morning.
Hi Damien, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. You're General Manager of the Park Hotel in Dungarvan. Measures for reopening at the end of June. Tell me, the Flynn Hotel Group, you've introduced a new programme called Because We Care. Tell me about this, please.
I suppose really, Damien, it's a programme to really get the message across to our customers that will be coming back on the 29th. It's getting the message out there that it's safe to come back. You know, this programme has created a very safe environment. So we've looked at all the customer journey from when they come into the hotel, the check-in process, the process of going into their room. We're looking at training of all the staff on this programme, just really to get the message across. And the big thing in the training programme is the touch points, because obviously with COVID, the HSE focus very much on touch points in hotels and so forth. We're investing greatly in our training, in new sanitising stations, tables. We've set the tables apart. Rooms, we're looking into electrostatic cleaning machines for all of our bedrooms. So these machines really will clean, let's say, the couches, pillows, that kind of materials that can't necessarily be cleaned by, a wipe of a disinfectant cloth.
Yeah.
So I think it's important. The majority of hotels are putting in cleaning programs. The IHF now have issued the opening protocols, the guidelines for hotels to open. How do we open with COVID-19? But it's very important that hotels get the message out there to their customers that it is actually safe to come back in. There is a safe environment, and it's up to all of us to play our part. Not only the employees, the employer, but I certainly believe that if customers come back, if they all play their part, stay within the social distancing guidelines, certainly the hotel industry, the tourism industry can in some way get back on its feet.
How have advance bookings been so far? Have you noticed anything, Declan?
I suppose with the original opening date, with the 20th of July, we had a lot of bookings cancelled. So really, we had nothing up to the 20th of July. But thankfully now, when the announcement was made on Friday, we've had an influx of bookings. I suppose July we're at about 30% occupancy. Historically for August, the Park Hotel would be at 85-90% occupancy. At the moment, we're only at about 35% occupancy. So, the tourism industry in Ireland really depends on the next couple of months on the domestic market. And when you think of hotels, our peak season is July, August, September. So it's vital that hotels perform some way well over the summer months, that hopefully can carry us through the winter. But the government supports have been fantastic. The wage subsidy now has been carried till the end of August. The IHF are lobbying hard that should be extended longer, because once we hit those winter months, it's all about cash flow, Damien. Business, it's the same in every business. Every business in the country will need to get back on its feet fairly quickly.
Yeah, no, I know you're doing a load of work, and obviously all the lads involved, and Alan and John and Pierce Flynn, and the 4 hotels, Imperial in Cork, New Park in Kilkenny, the Old Ground in Ennis, and the Park in Dungarvan. I want to wish you the very best with it, Declan, because you are putting in an awful lot of effort into this. I know you do. Yeah,
and hoteliers hoteliers will work hard. We've been through, not similar situations, but the last recession, it's about adapting your business, we're doing a lot here. We're looking at all of our outdoor areas, so we can open successfully with COVID. The question is, how much business can we do? But obviously, just like all the local business that opened this week, we all need support. We need support from the domestic market, so it's really for the next couple of months, it's about the Irish supporting the Irish.
Very good. Well, very well said. Declan, thanks very much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks very much, Damien.
Thanks. Good to talk to you.
Thank
See you
you
over the summer, okay?
Yeah.
Declan Moriarty, General Manager of the Park Hotel in Dungarvan, and we'll go down there to the park and see exactly what they're doing, because the Because We Care programme they've put in place seems like a really, really good idea, and well done to the Flynns, and best of luck to everybody involved in the hotel and hospitality sector. Next, hairdos, hair extensions, colours. When are hairdressers going to open? Now get your questions in about hairdos, please. 083 333 975. I'm going to talk to Danielle in a second. Firstly, car registrations. The person who said he or she has a W reg needs to remember not to judge people who don't. I'm from Tramore. I have a KK reg. My boyfriend has a D reg. And both my parents, respectively, has C and D reg, all live in Tramore, and all the cars bought in Waterford. I'm sick of people hearing and judging people by their car registrations. Good point. Temperature taking is a load of rubbish, says Mary, and an invasion of privacy. Is every shop going to be doing this? Let us know. Now, the 2 metre rule is coming under sustained pressure today by different groups, and Fáilte Ireland are still recommending 2 metres. We're going to talk about safety measures now. Danielle Kennedy, good morning.
Good morning, Damien. Nice to talk to you again.
Nice to talk to you again. Incoming president of the Irish Hairdressing Federation, owner of Lloyd's Hairdressers in Waterford. We spoke to you a number of weeks ago about the phased reopening. What is the plan at present? Has it been brought forward? When are hairdressers due to reopen, just to remind people?
So currently we're due to reopen on July 20th, which was phase 4. Obviously yesterday was an extremely positive day. We were delighted to see an acceleration of the roadmap, but a little bit disappointed that our industry as of yet hasn't been brought forward.
What about criticism from other hairdressers, Danielle, that contacted the show and other shows after the Irish Hairdressers Federation pushed this? Are you getting many hairdressers saying, hold on a second, why are we pushing this a bit too far? Are we pushing it a bit too far? Or what's the feeling?
Look, first off, let me say the hair salons are very, very sanitary and very safe environments. Nobody wants to open up in any sort of an unsafe environment at all. I can't comment on the preference of other, individuals within the industry. I can only say that from talking to our members and hundreds of hairdressers over the last few weeks, the majority of the industry wants to get back to work, which is why we've developed our extensive set of expertly backed recommendations, which we feel should allow us to reopen at the earlier phase of June 29th.
So you're looking at bringing it forward by 3 weeks at least?
Yes. Now, Minister Harris was on the radio yesterday and he did reference our guidelines. He referenced them as comprehensive and that he said that they would be engaging with us later this week. They said that government and NEFIT would be meeting this week to review phases 3 and 4. So it's looking like we could be up for reconsideration in that.
Okay, and obviously you're doing a lot of lobbying on this, and how much of a difference will it make just to stay off the extra 3 weeks? Would it make that much of a difference, really?
Well, it does, because each week that goes by, look, our industry is made up of small to medium-sized businesses. They're all local businesses. We employ over 25,000 people in the industry in Ireland, and each week that goes by, more and more businesses are at risk. I'm talking to salon owners every single day, and the bills, they're just racking up, and the bills are far in excess of any grants available. Although the government have done a wonderful job of, bringing in grants and benefits to the industry, the bills do far exceed what is available to us. So it is very important that we get our businesses back up and running, albeit in a very safe manner and a slightly different way of operating than we previously did.
And obviously the 1 or 2 metre debate doesn't really affect yourselves. That's more specifically got to do with other industries. The debate that affects ye is the measures that you can put in place. A lot of other countries haven't closed down their hairdressers or barbers for as long as Ireland, have they?
No. So if we were to open on the 20th of July, we would be closed for 18 weeks. In other countries in Europe, the salons are closed for 6 to 8 weeks. In all those other countries that have reopened so far, their salons have reopened and it hasn't had any negative impact on the spread of the virus. We actually got some data in from Germany at the weekend. Their salons have been reopened now for 5 weeks and the virus has continued to decline. So that's very positive.
Okay. And what about that ongoing issue that people text in nearly every day about some hairdressers, a minority of hairdressers that are doing hair at present in houses? What have you got to say about that, Danielle?
Look, it's very wrong. Everyone knows we're not supposed to be doing it. I do sympathise, though, with people because there are such huge mental health benefits to getting your hair done. Some people can't look after their hair themselves, older clients. But that's why we feel it's more important than ever. We get the salons back open. we have brought out our health and safety protocols for our members, which are a really comprehensive guide to running your salon in a very, very safe manner. And let's get this industry back to work.
And where can people access and read those guidelines? On the Irish Hairdressing Foundation website, is it?
Yeah, it's irishhairfeds.com.
Okay. Danielle, thank you very much, and we'll talk to you again over the next few weeks, okay?
Brilliant. Thanks, Damien.
Thank you very much. Danielle Kennedy, incoming president of the Irish Hairdressing Federation. Good morning, Damien. I am a hairdresser, but I'm just wondering, why are we pushing this a bit too quickly? Another person saying there are some hairdressers doing hair in the pandemic, and I believe it's shocking, says this texter. Good morning. I'm wondering if some of Tony Holohan's advice was ignored by the government. Things seem to be going forward very quickly. We were only talking about this in the building here last week in terms of if we did a poll of people on WLR listeners, do you think things are going too fast, or should they be going faster, or are they just right, you know? We might try and set that up for later in the week, because some people believe that, it's time enough to do it and we're doing it at the right pace. Others believe, maybe we are going a bit too fast. Be interesting to know. Let us know your thoughts on the topics we're covering this morning. Number of people texting in about card-only payments. We're trying to get a full note from the Consumer Protection Agency. And Julie, our producer, says that the Consumer Protection Agency says refusing cash would discriminate against an individual and would be a bad way for retail to manage reopening. Cards can only be a preferred method of payment. However, he doesn't say it's illegal not to take cash. So we'll try and tease that out now and find out exactly. He doesn't say it's illegal not to take cash. Any stores that you've been to that they're accepting card only, how awkward is this? 083 333 975.